A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be part of this group, and I'm glad that I got this opportunity to share my experience with you all. And today's topic is consciousness. Before we per se start with the talk per se, I'll give you my personal experience. Uh, I had this one lecture hearing, or rather, when I had gone to Nirmal Guruji's ashram, and there he had mentioned about this book by David Hawkins, Power versus Force. This is the book. And I laid my hands on it and I read through this book. And rightly so, he said, by one reading, you'll not understand. I read twice and now I make some sense of that particular thing, what is there. And one day I was sitting down, it's just a matter of, I suppose, a week, 10 days back. I was during my meditation early in the morning during Brahma Muhurta. I get up around 2:33 in the morning. And that's the time when I was sitting down in meditation. And during meditation, I don't know how it came. It says, Ki consciousness. I read that book. What really is consciousness? I mean, how do I feel about it? And that's the time I got a visualization which came down to me. I'll share that visualization and request you all to follow that visualization with your eyes closed and go along with it. And that is what actually gave me the sense of what consciousness is. So I like to share this particular experience of mine with you. To begin with, we can close our eyes, and after closing the eyes, I will request you to concentrate on Ajna Chakra here, right in the center. And after having concentrated here, chant Om 3 times in your mind. And after having done that, gradually and very slowly, move your consciousness, or rather your awareness, I would say, not consciousness, awareness, all along the periphery of your brain and bring it back here. And once you brought it back here, hold it here and chant Om. And then visualize that there is a river flowing through your head, all along like this, river is flowing, and the water is falling from Ajna Chakra down, and there's a waterfall here. And this waterfall which is happening has got a bright sun right in front, which is there. So we'll just go over this expression, what I just mentioned. We can start this. We can close our eyes. Concentrate on Ajna Chakra. Chant Om 3 times. Gradually and slowly move your awareness along the periphery of your brain, all around. Chant the mantra Om. Visualize the river flowing over the head. There is a waterfall at the Ajna Chakra, and the water is falling there. And right in front of Ajna Chakra is a bright sun shining, which is illuminating your brain. Get your awareness back. Open your eyes. Yeah. Anyone want to share something? What was it like? Did they feel something? Could you see something? Could you visualize something? Anyone? Sorry, can't hear you, ma'am. You'll have to unmute yourself. Shashiji, can't hear you. You'll have to unmute yourself.
No, Duru has unmuted herself. Duru, go ahead.
Yeah, I could visualize the sun very clearly, and it felt good that the sun is on the level of my eyes, so to say, you know. And when I went round the periphery, I think I went a bit too fast. So I took about 3 rounds by the time I came back to the center again when you gave the next instruction. It was nice feeling. Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Thank you. Anyone else?
So I've unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Yes. So first, I started with some ordinary white light, focusing on the Ajna Chakra. And then automatically I felt a sense of energy, strong energy there. And then I followed your instruction and put Ganga Jal all around my eyes and waterfall coming from my Ajna Chakra. And I saw the bright sunlight. And my whole body and mind immediately became very peaceful and joyful. That was all.
Yeah. Thank you. The experience what you just had, everyone have a different experience. Keep that experience with you. Now, as we go along the talk, and by the end of the talk, you will realize that what you went through makes some sense with what we're talking right now. Okay. So I think I'll share this little presentation with you all because it'll be easier for everyone to comprehend as to how we begin with from here. Is it? No, sorry.
Visible, sir.
Okay. So basically, in my talk, I had mentioned, a little introduction which I had given, and that I had mentioned a universal way of winking at you while you're wandering around and lost in the forest. You know, so what really does it mean? Serendipity. Serendipity. Serendipity is actually implies that something very good happens all of a sudden without expectation. It just comes like to you, and that is what you call it was a serendipity moment for you. The universe always keeps sending the such signals to you. You must have seen in your life something all of a sudden happens and you feel very good. That is the serendipity moment which are there. And synchronicity are like the trees lined up along to guide you towards a hidden treasure. You know, synchronicity is that number of such serendipity events which happen. They have no correlation, but yet they look like correlated to one another. They're something like the trees lined up and they're taking you towards it. This is the essence of consciousness. Consciousness is always and every time with you there. And it is always sending certain signals down to you and trying to guide you. Now it is up to us what we absorb and what we leave it out. Together, they are the cosmic dance of faith and chance, leading you to unexpected moments and surprising experience of delightful work. This was actually the introduction of the talk to bring essence of consciousness into it. Let me take you down to understand consciousness in a bigger sense. Let's first understand a mantra. The Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra, we're all aware of what is Gayatri Mantra. And this mantra is a mantra which was written in Rig Vedas around 2500 to 3500 years earlier. It has got around 28 words into 3 paras, which are there. And this mantra is so strong. Everyone says why it's strong, but why is it so strong? We'll just understand it. This mantra, in matter of 3 pagas, gives the entire understanding of the existence of what we are to do in that existence. Let's see this Gayatri mantra. Everyone is aware of Gayatri mantra. Om Bhur Bhava Swaha Tatsa Vitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yo Na Prachodaya. The first word is Om. Om is the sacred word or the pranava, which is actually the initiator of the existence, the initiator of the life or the universe where we are all in. So Om is the first word. And what is Om represents? It represents vibrations. So it is the first thing which happens in the universe is God put vibrations. And thereafter, everything started vibrating and came into life. So life is nothing but full of vibrations. Any and everything is full of vibrations. Today, science have come down to the realization that any and everything in the universe is interconnected and vibrating at certain frequencies. Next, we come to Bhu Bhava Swaha. We all aware, Bhu is the physical plane, Bhava is the space or the astral plane, and Swaha is the cosmic or the heaven, what we can call as. These are 3 subtle bodies of the mankind or of the universe per se. Tat means the supreme soul. Now, supreme soul here, Paramatma or Pan Paramatma is something which is incomprehensible. You do not know where is he, where it starts, where it ends. So that's not the Paramatma we're looking at. It is from Paramatma when the first step of creation started, what we call as Chaitanya Kautashta. That is the place what we refer to as Tat here. That's Paramatma coming in there. Savitur is Surya, the sun god. It's an Ishwar Surya. Surya is the sun by itself, what we call as, and in the universe it is termed as the Grand Central, Brahm Brahma. It also refers to the soul. Ishwar is the soul which is there in all of us. And not only all of us, as we go along, we'll the soul are of 4 different types. Enormous soul, large soul, small soul, and finite soul. Finite soul is where the mankind comes. So that's a soul. Vareniyam, fit to be worshipped, implying that the Om, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Paramatma, that is the Chaitanya Kautishta, who actually started the creation, and the sun and the souls are all fit to be worshipped, and we must worship them. Because if we worship them, Bhargava, that removes the sin and ignorance from us. If we worship them, that is what removes the sin and ignorance. Devasya Dhimahi, the glory of these people whom, if we meditate on, Dhyo Buddhi, that is Buddhi and intellect, Yo Na Prachodayat, that once we meditate on all these sarups, that's the glory of all these, we actually enlighten our Buddhi, and Buddhi is what gets enlightened and gives us or inspires us towards that. So if you see this complete mantra, it gives us a complete existence of what we are. Om, from where it started, it created Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, 3 types of bodies or 3 lokas which are there. Supreme God who created it. Savitar, that is the fit to be worshipped, the God and the Sun to be worshipped. Bhargo, if we worship on them, it removes the sin and ignorance. It gets us to understand. And if we meditate upon them, that gives us the buddhi, which actually enlightens us, takes us to the forward area or say thing. So what it comes down to, that once we are enlightened, what we understand after enlightenment, it takes us towards dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That means rightful dharma with artha, whatever you have to do for your securities, kama, for your pleasures, will take us to moksha. That means we'll do rightful dharma. When you're doing artha, rightful dharma, and when doing kama, rightful kamas, will take us to moksha. Now let's understand this in a pictorial form. This will make it furthermore easier for everyone. Pram Satya. Now we all aware of their lokas which have been told. Pram Satya is Satya Loka, where the God exists. No one knows what he is, where's the start, where's the end. Thereafter comes this Tapaloka. This is where the Kautashthya Chaitanya is there. So God created Kautashthya Chaitanya, who is responsible for bringing this creation. And Kautashthya Chaitanya from Tapaha Loka came down to Jana Loka. Jana Loka is where the Pusha, the souls, what we are created. And souls, I told you, there are 4 types of divine souls. One is the enormous soul, which gets terminated or gets formed into galaxies. The various galaxies, there are millions and millions of galaxies. The second one are the large divine fragment or the large Pushas, which get formed into sun and stars. And thereafter comes is a small divine fragments which get formed into various planets where Earth also gets formed of. And the last, which is the finite, which is smallest of the souls or the fragment, divine fragment, is where the mankind comes into it. So 4 types of life gets created in the existence. You would have seen there's a creation. Creation is the one where it is beyond the Mahaloka. Mahaloka, if you see the circle I have drawn, this is the place where the existence is there, what you and me are part of. Beyond Mahaloka, there's Tapaloka and Janaloka and Satyaloka are beyond that. That is where the creation is being prepared by the God. In that, the Kautilya Cheshta is prepared, Purushas are there, and thereafter all the 4 types of divine fragments are there. Apart from that, the Om is given. That is the Ananda, part of Ananda. The Om word is given or it's initiated, which starts vibrating the Anus, that is the atom which are produced. And once the atom gets initiated, it starts vibrating. And when it vibrates, it creates space. And when it creates space, along with it creates time. So when the vibration starts, the time and space comes into being. And that's how we understand everything in time and space in our frame when it comes down. And all this is in a soup sort of thing or in an ocean that is on a chitte. This is nothing but God's awareness. Or when I say God's awareness, is the knowledge, the profound understanding, the feeling of Param Paramatma. Everything revolves around that. And if you see all this, which is part of the creation, comes into Mahaloka through a ring knot pass. This ring knot pass is a point where the divine fragments move into Mahaloka and they drop in their frequencies dramatically. So if you see Param Satya, the frequency is so high that no one can see, no one can understand. Tapaloka, Janaloka, the frequency is still very high and they are very well connected and understandable to Paramatma. But the moment they come into Mahaloka, they get to the ring knot pass. That means they cannot go back once they get into this. The frequencies drop dramatically. And these frequencies, as they drop dramatically, the chitte which is there, chitte is the understanding of the God in which it comes down. And then with the Om word, Anu, and time and space, it starts creating the universe, what we see around us. And then what creation comes in is Swaha, Bhuva, and Bhu. That is the cosmic body, the astral body, and the physical body. And this chitte, this is where the God has brought in a twist to the mankind. He's added 3 types of different frequencies into it. That is Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These frequencies are the ones which bring in our understanding in a different form. How we behave, how we do. It is these frequencies which create a sort of a smart act in between and brings in a deliberate understanding we have to get over these to start understanding God, that is the chitte, the real consciousness which is there. And this complete existence is bounded between buddhi and manas. The buddhi is the enlightened part which is taking you towards the chit, towards God. And manas is the one which is actually a negative part which actually taking you away from chit, away from understanding. And in between these two, which pole you will go, is dependent on how you utilize these 3 frequencies of Sata, Raja, and Tama. These particular 3 frequencies which come in. Now comes in is, if you have understood this particular existence, how this particular existence works and where is the chitte, where is the consciousness, and where we are. Now, thing comes in is ki as a soul, as an individual, how does this chitte comes into us? Now, this is where we just did this little exercise or this particular activity a bit earlier, where you felt, visualize that the chitta comes through you. And this is, after this visualization of mine, I read through, it is there in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and also in book which has been written by, that's a book in which has been written by Tavariya ji, in which he beautifully explains. And I was surprised that the explanation is exactly the same. He also says that the consciousness flows through your mind. It flows like a river through your mind. And Ajna Chakra is the place where your thoughts get disseminated to others. And there is Buddhi, which shines. The sun which shines is the Buddhi. Now, it depends on how much Buddhi can influence your thought or not. The Buddhi always is there, but how much is it being accepted or not? Now, how this mind works, let's understand that. The body, physical body, has got an astral body and a cosmic body, we are aware of. But astral and physical body are very closely co-joined. Now, proper science says that what I'm talking, it is traveling to your ears. You listen to your ears, it goes to your mind, you decipher, and you understand what's happening. But Patanjali Yoga Sutra says it is not like that. As per them, whatever I'm talking, the sound is traveling and coming and hitting your aura. There's an aura around before it gets to your ears or thing. And this aura is around. Now, today science has identified aura. It can even take pictures of that aura. And tomorrow, if someone hasn't seen aura, go around to during daytime outside and look to any object, particularly the tree. If you look at the tree with the side of your eye, you will see a little glow all around the tree. That is the aura. Every tree, every plant will have a different aura. Similarly, every structure around will have a little bit of aura. That's aura. So first, this information goes and hits the aura. Aura has got nadis. This information travels through nadis and goes at the base of your spine. From base of the spine, it goes to Ida and Pingala. It rises up and comes to medulla oblongata, taluk. Taluk over here. And taluk is the point where the manas, that is the astral body manas, is connected to the physical brain out here. So this information, when it reaches taluk, it takes similar information from the stored up information on the right side of the brain or this particular head is the past information that is of the previous birth, and the left side of the brain has got information of this birth, whatever is there. So whatever senses have come in, information has come in, you quickly correlate between those two. And once you have correlated with that, with the emotions just stored up, immediately it flows ahead and comes to the Ajna Chakra and the thoughts get formed. And once the thoughts get formed, they actually get disseminated from here and reaches the person ahead, whoever is listening. And once these thoughts reach, they influence the person. These thoughts are dependent on what type of frequency you are generating in your brain. Means what type of thoughts you are generating. And based on those thoughts, not only that this information disseminated, based on the frequency which you have disseminated, the frequency patterns which are existing in the universe, you actually resonate, you clash with those particular frequencies. Those frequencies and your frequency resonate. If it is negative, it resonates and increases to a more negative form. If it is positive, it gets resonated, connected, and becomes more positive in it. And that's where we say, there's a particular saying all across, that whatever you ask, कायनात आपको वापस करती है, or you get back whatever you ask from the universe. That is exactly what it is. Whatever frequency you set, you get back that frequency. I'm not well, I'm sad, I'm this. You will be further going down in your recovery. You will be further sad. If you say, no, I'm feeling better, I'm pretty okay, I'm thankful to God that this is happening, you will think things are happening. Why? It's because what type of frequency you're generating, That frequency is connecting with the frequency in the universe and resonating and sending it back to you. Thus, when this frequency gets back to you, you start comprehending better understanding. Rather, you start meeting people who have got a similar frequency because they also match up with your frequency. It depends on what frequency to frequency you match. So that is what exactly how the brain functions and how the frequencies get generated. Now, the same thing has been like universal divine mind. I say the only prevailing gentle substance in Godhead in the existence. That is in the universe. I mean, in the divine mind. When I say divine, universal divine mind, I mean consciousness. In the consciousness, that is the only Godhead which is there, where you can get the thing. Now, once you have understood how this information comes in, how the consciousness flows through you, and when this consciousness comes into your brain, we call it as chitta. Why it is called as chitta? Because this gets colored with our past memories. And if we take away the past memory and the forward memory, there are reasons which subsequently, whenever we the talks, we can discuss how can that be done. Uh, then it becomes chitte because the chitta is not colored by any other thing and becomes the same and goes. And once that state is reached, that is known as the stage of samadhi. And that stage is reached, that's the time your brain only understands samadhi, that is only understand the truthful buddhi, and the manas stop playing any role in it. Right now, the manas plays a major role in our understanding of things which is there. Now, when this thing is coming and the vibrations are being developed in the brain and in going into the universe, our body is also vibrating. Every cell in our body is vibrating. And if you see a gentle thing, like how when the heart is beating, it's beating at 60 to 70 beats per minute. Breath is 14 to 16 per minute. Similarly, all those things which have been present on the screen, all these things together make a average frequency of an individual. And these frequencies are directly dependent on the thought, because thought is the one which develops a frequency in you. If your thoughts are positive, you will have a positive effect on all the frequencies of your cell. The cells will vibrate at a higher frequency, and when on the higher frequency, they'll vibrate at the optimum level. And once they are at optimum level, the cells will be in a proper orchestra. And once you have negative thoughts, because of the thoughts, the frequency drops. And when the frequency drops, the cell frequency also gets dissociated. And when it gets dissociated, the illness, disease, all these things starts off. And then the orchestra which is there, which is in your body of the frequency, gets dissipated. And it actually gets into disorientation. And that's where we come down of diseases and your thought process going, you started feeling bad about things, all that thing starts off, which is there. I must bring this to the notice during COVID. It's been identified that coronavirus vibrates at 5.5 hertz. And at 25.5 hertz, the virus dies. Whoever during corona was a positive person who lived happily has nothing has happened to him. And the people who vibrated lower because of fear, anxiety, the coronavirus got into because they were vibrating at a lower frequency. And this frequency from 5.5 to 25.5 is the place where corona has gone and infected everyone. The people who were vibrating higher, there have been so many instances who were very positive people who actually just took those Ayurvedic medicines and they were there in hospitals working day in, day out. Nothing happened to them because the frequencies were so high that coronavirus couldn't infect them. Similarly, that is fear, phobia, suspicion, anxiety, anger, rage, all these things actually bring your frequency down. And during coronavirus, these all things were predominant in literally every one of us. And that's how we became susceptible to the coronavirus as such. Like pain, it vibrates at 0.1 to 2 hertz. Fear, 0.2 to 2.5 hertz. Pride, 0.8. Superiority, 1.9. And if you were on a generous side, that is gratitude, compassion, universal love, you're vibrating at 95 hertz, 120 hertz, 350 hertz. So imagine if you were into generosity level, there's no reason for any diseases coming and hitting you in. And that's the reason the people who are in this particular frame, there is no way the coronavirus could infect them. And these particular things have been properly scientifically analyzed. And David Hawkins is the person who actually has done it in a very profound manner. And not only him, there have been other doctors also, other profound professors and luminaries who have done it, like David Baham and Sir John Excel. They are the ones who are actually pioneering into understanding what consciousness and quantifying what consciousness is. And this is what now I'll draw you towards the study of David Hawkins, where he says that everything is a frequency within you and how you need to work towards. Right now, whenever we go, we listen to, like, for example, the first part, which I told you about Jana Loka, Tapa Loka, and other things. These things you would hear fine. And thereafter, after a while, once you go back to your work, you would forget that because that is something which actually do not correlate. So something we must understand which correlates with us. And this is where David Hawkins has done a phenomenal job. His research for 30 years has been on it, and he has researched on around 1.5 or maybe 1.20 odd lakh people all across the world. And they've come up with a very profound understanding of consciousness, and they've given a particular chart how to identify where you are in this consciousness and how do you work towards it. If I draw your attention towards the figure which I showed you earlier, you would see that from God, Satya Loka, as you kept coming down, what was reducing? It was the frequency which was reducing. So the further you went away from God, the frequency kept going down and down and down. What we need to do is to move up, we need to improve on a frequency. So whatever we do, like Gauri said, and I think brilliant things he brought out before this talk really started was, do not talk about God, do not talk about scriptures, talk about your experience. Why? Experience is, once you have experience, your frequency starts rising. And once your frequency starts rising, you will have bigger experience, better experience. And what is written in scriptures and what people are telling, you will yourself start feeling and getting that thing. That is the right way of moving ahead. And that's the reason these talks are so very essential, because when you sit over here and talk and listen to each other, you actually improve upon your frequency. What is meditation? Meditation is nothing. There's so many ways they tell you concentrate here, you concentrate there, this mantra, that mantra. Ultimate crux comes down to is that you need to silence yourself so that your frequency rises. How does that happen? When you sit in meditation, what really happens is the incoming inputs which are coming through taluk, through the river of the consciousness which is flowing through you, it actually picks up information from manas, the past and the present one, and emotions, and comes and forms thoughts here. Now, when this is coming down, as per Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there are 36,000 thoughts come every minute. So many information is coming to your brain, out of which only 120 information which actually translates into thought out here. And once that thing comes in, so one after the thought keeps coming, and when the thought keeps coming one after the other, the buddhi which is there in front, the sun which is there in front, is not able to influence you and give you information, because you yourself are contemplating, and one after the other information you are taking out, and that becomes your understanding and awareness. Now, when you sit in meditation, what you are exactly doing is you are trying to increase the gap between two thoughts. And as the gap between two thoughts increases, what really happens? The thought comes here, it flows through the brain, or it flows through the river here, before it comes here to the registration area or the Ajna Chakra. At this particular point, when it comes, it delays, because the moment the thought comes out of consciousness, which is flowing in your brain, onto the registration area, it is just a matter of very few fractions of second it takes. And if it doesn't go back into the consciousness, the thought dies. So what happens is, in meditation, when you're sitting down, what you're doing, you are increasing the gap between your thoughts. And when you're increasing the gap between the thoughts, what is happening? The thoughts, how the gap is getting increased? Your thoughts which are coming to think, they go to the registration area, and before they get back, it dies here. And then the gap increases. Another thought comes, it dies, it further gets increased, it further gets increased. And as this gap gets increasing, the Surya, the Buddhi which is there, the influence of that starts increasing in. And when that starts increasing in, that gives its vibration, which are phenomenally higher. And these higher vibrations bring in better understanding, the better vibrations. And when those better vibrations come in, you rise in vibrations and you go up. I will share a chart which has been given by David Hawkins, which will now make you understand how the consciousness can be measured, and you can identify where you are in this consciousness table and what you need to do to improve on your consciousness. Yeah. So if you see, this is a chart in front of you. Minimum frequency is shown as 20, and the enlightenment is shown as 7 to 10, 7 to 1000. Now, I like to put in a little warning here. This frequency should not be understood in form of hertz, like I've been talking so far. It shouldn't be understood in form of hertz. Because this particular understanding, the frequency when they talk of, it is identified by certain tests, kinescopic tests, which these people have done over 30 years, 35 years on various people all across the world. And they have come down from that study. I will be telling you what tests they have done. And you must also try that test on yourself once you get back. So this particular thing, suppose if it's 300 frequency, and I say there was a 150 frequency and there's a 300 frequency. Now, 150 going to 300 doesn't mean that it is doubled. What it means is that when it becomes 300, 300 is to the log of 10. That means 300 log of 10. Just imagine that's the phenomenal jump which takes place from one frequency to another. So just keep that in mind, that it is not that when you say 125, I'm 124. No, even one change in one frequency as per this is to the log of 10. So that's a huge difference. Log of 100, sorry. It's a huge difference which is there. So if we see this particular log, he has given a God view, that at those frequencies, what type of a view towards God people have. The life view, second column, what type of a view towards life the people have. And the level of enlightenment. And the log, the frequency itself, the emotions, and the process which comes. Now, at the base is the 20. If you look at from 20 to 200, this is what he calls at the negative frequencies. These are the negative frequencies which actually bind you in, which you bind you with your manas. You've seen the manas here, the manas, and you are putting it across. The buddhi is not getting enlightened. Once you move beyond 200, 200 is a tilting point. Once you move beyond 200, that's a time, what I told you, that the gap of your thoughts start increasing. The buddhi starts getting enlightening. And when it starts enlightening, your frequency starts rising and you move up in your understanding. So guilt, shame is at 20, 30, apathy at 50, grief 75, fear 100, desire 125, anger, pride 175. Now someone will ask me, why is anger and pride there? There's so much there. But anger, pride, and desire, if you see, it has got its plus as well as negative side. There is anger which is good also. There's not that anger is always bad. There's anger for doing well, but there is anger for negative side also. Similarly, there is the pride for doing right, pride for doing negative. So similarly, that's the reason as you keep moving up, if you see from the frequency down from 20, 30, as you keep moving up, there is a difference in understanding at every level. As per David Hawkins, 85 to 87% of the world population is below 200. And as per him, the last frequency was 196. Now, in past 5 years, the frequency of the world has jumped. This is there in news. This also as per the understanding of the scientific community, the whole vibration of the earth arising. And the frequency of the mankind is also jumped to 200. It has come up to the tilting point of 200. But majority of the people remain below 150 and others. That is going up to 20, 30 and all. So that's the place which are there. It is only 5% who gets into the understand, 5% of the world population gets from 250 to 350. And there are just about 2% who get into 400 to 500. And there is 0.5% who actually go beyond that. And the frequency of 700 to 1000, rather 1000 frequency is anticipated as per his understanding. He has his test, which I'll be telling you how it's done. He says Krishna, Christ, Buddha, they were the ones who were actually at that frequency of 1000 uh, hertz. Hertz is not the correct word, but 1000 frequency what they were at. So what we have to understand is identify what is the predominant characteristic of me. Do I remain in fear? Always worrying, ये कर दिया तो क्या होगा, वो कर दिया तो क्या होगा, ऐसा खराब तो नहीं हो जाएगा, वैसा खराब तो नहीं हो जाएगा. Just see where you are. You are at 100. If you're at 100, how can you work towards moving towards love, joy? It'll be far away from you. How can the love, joy come in? You have to rise above. So you must do and rectify your negatives and bring positivity into it. How to do it? Gratitude, love, respect, like openness. Like just we were discussing a little while back that people when putting here, don't put my video on, WhatsApp. My intimate things are being there. There's nothing as intimate. If you consider every person out here in this gathering as my own, and if I'm bringing my truthfulness out, that is what actually is acceptance. You'll be vibrating at 350 hertz as per this. Willingness, 310 hertz. Courage, 200 hertz. And this is where soldiers, not all, but soldiers, when we talk of the people, not only the Army, Navy, Air Force, I also talk in various forms who take upon themselves to be in the vanguard of things and say, I'm going to change. They are all soldiers in every sphere. Those are the people who have courage. They are vibrating at minimum 200 frequency. And thereafter, whatever they're doing with love, joy, and others, the frequency keeps taking them further up and up and up. My suggestion would be that keep this chart with, take a printout, put it in your room, and every day identify how was my day, at what frequency were I vibrating. And I can assure you, you will improve. And when you sit for meditation, that will be your acid test that over 15, 20 days, a month after having made improvement out here, you will find the meditation becoming easier. You'll find that you are concentrating better. And that's where you bring in your meditation with this improvement, you will rise in frequencies. And that is the way you will really find that you're making progress in spirituality. And that was my main essence of bringing, because I found this book was profound. And now, just to bring your understanding what this particular test is, it's kinesiology is the study of muscles and the movement. So what David Hawkins did, he created a test that he said that everything is mind. If mind is the one which is producing frequencies, and mind is the one that produces frequency, that frequency immediately affects the body. And the effect happens immediately on the muscles first. And what he did, he made the people stand with their left arm extended like this. And he told them to visualize anything which was good, like, for example, the guru or anything which was there. And thereafter, he told, I'm going to be hitting on your arm here, and you resist. And when he hit the thing, they resisted. And the arm only went this bit up or a little down. There was a strength in the muscles. And thereafter, a while after that, he says, okay, now think of something which is negative. A very thing which gave you a thing, which gives you negativity and other things, the person who's there. You do that and he says, okay, resist. And he does that and the hand falls like this down. Same thing, within seconds, the muscle strength changes. And I've done this particular phenomena with a lot of people around and it works. Let me do this with my daughter. I'll just call my daughter. And the phenomenal thing is that the mobile is the place which actually takes away a lot of positive vibrations from you. Lot of positive vibration. So what we'll do is, I'll make a hold the mobile in a hand and extend arm and see what the strength is. Thereafter, she'll leave the mobile and thereafter do it without it. And thereafter, let's see what the strength is. Right? Let me just call her. Ritika, Come, come.
Sir, can you stop the screen sharing?
Yeah, I'll just stop the screen sharing. Just a sec. I'll just stop the screen sharing. Uh, yeah. That's my daughter, Ritika. Yeah, she is actually in States, to whom I'd gone earlier, and she's a cancer research analyst working for oncology. So why I'm giving her background is that whatever we are doing, a technical guy is doing it, and so she's also very apprehensive of all such things. So when she has agreed to my thought, so that means there's something. Okay, hold this mobile in your hand and face that way. Yes. Okay, it's in your arm. Yeah. Now to resist down. Okay. No. Don't make any effort. You just Just no. Don't stop the thing. Okay. Be normal self. Be normal self. Okay. Now. Just look at the difference which is there. When she was holding the mobile, the hand went. It went. It went this way down. Yeah. And when she was not holding the mobile, there was strength that just went this much up. And when I was pushing it down, I could feel the strength of a muscle trying to push back. In the first case, I didn't feel the strength which was pushing it down. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So this is a small test which I thought is very essential, and I've been doing this. And even a book, you want to read a book, and before you read the book, you want to find out how good it is. Do this test. If the book has essence and good, you will have the strength in your arm. If it is not essence and it's actually a copied and a pictures thing, your hand will go down. And I must tell you, Tavariyaji's book, which is there, I did the example on this on my hand. I held this in my other hand and did this. Absolute strong, won't come down, which is there. And which shows that there is not only sense, there is so much of wisdom in this. And these are the books which should be read by everyone, everyone, which is there. Even this Power and Force and Power, which is a book by David Hawkins, who's a guy who's actually given this. I tried doing this. You'd be surprised. In his book, he gives chapter-wise breakdown of the strength of his chapters. I'll just show you the chart which is there. Sorry, I think I'm not able to move on. There's so many pages. I'm just trying to flick around. Anyway, he has given every chapter wise, he has given what is the strength. And certain chapters where he describes this chart has got a strength of 850 frequency. 850, which shows that it is closest to the truth of what he has done. Okay. So these are things which I thought I need to bring to your notice to understand consciousness. Now, if we now take a little some short of the whole, what we have discussed is God created existence by two things, Chit and Anand. Anand is a force, Chit is a feeling. Chit is nothing but consciousness, which is there. And Anand is the force from where Om, Anu, time and space came about. And because of those, the four Chit came into existence and the whole universe came. Bhu, Bhua, Swaha. And they're all vibrating. Swaha is a very high frequency. When you come down to Bhu, lesser frequency. Bhua, lesser frequency. And then you come to Bhu, very low frequency. And in that also, there are 7 stages. So there's a long chapter. I don't want to go into that, it'll confuse the whole thing. So the frequency which are there, we were at lower frequency, but as we are moving across, we enter involution process. Remember, we had taken a discussion on Satalok, Dwapayug, and other. We are moving towards Dwapayug. We are into Dwapayug and moving towards Tretayug now. Into Dwapayug we are. That's the reason the frequencies are going higher. And because of that, we are in fourth stage of our consciousness. There are 7 stages. In Bhu, we have come to the 4th stage. And now is the time for to move up. If we understand this particular aspect of improving frequencies, we will keep rising on these frequencies and move up. We don't have to wait for the whole universe to come from Dwapar Yug to Treta and to Satyug. You actually can go up to Satyug level frequency in this very life, provided we start working on that chart, improve on your frequency, and go up in frequency. This was a little talk which I thought I'll share with you all. I hope I made some sense. Thank you. And yeah, just one thing more. Now, what you did the visualization, correlate that visualization with what we discussed. You'll find that now sit down and visualize that, you will visualize it better. And that actually is the essence of the whole thing. And that actually is there. Because whatever it came to my mind is correlated in this book. It's correlated in this book exactly the same thing. Thank you.
So anybody wants to share something or ask a question, please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. And you can ask. How did you all find the experiment Kundra Sahib did with his daughter? Yes.
Can
I
ask
was
a question,
wondering.
sir?
Just one person at a time. Duru, will you please speak?
I was wondering, Bhai Sahib, can we do the same experiment again now?
Yes. You want to do it with my daughter? Do I get my daughter?
With all of you? With all of us together?
That is
all of
something
us I
that
can't
you
do because I need to put my hand on to do that. You have
No,
to
no,
be physically
I
there.
mean the one which we did in the beginning, the first exercise.
Yes, we can do that.
Yes, we should do it now because then we will do it with awareness.
Yes. Okay.
But can I share something,
Yes.
Kundra Sahib, before we do
Please. Yeah, please.
that? You see, the upshot of all this is that ultimately existence does not recognize us by our names or our identities or the nation to which you belong or the religion you follow or who you are in your personal life. Existence recognizes a person only by the frequency of that person. And depending upon the kind of frequency and vibration a person has, that is where that will be the deciding factor as to what kind of thoughts that person is going to have or what kind of emotions that person is going to have. So existence, when it sees that somebody is entertaining all kinds of lower frequencies and vibrations or emotions that are related to lower frequency and vibration, in its compassion, the existence thinks that, okay, this person needs this, so it gives a person more of that. So people who are already suffering and they are consumed by suffering and they keep having negative thoughts one after the other, their suffering is prolonged because they are inviting suffering by their thoughts. And those who learn the lesson and who learn to how to moderate the kind of thoughts the mind is going to have, they find a way out to improve their frequency and vibration, and they can come out of whatever challenges they are facing. So it's a very simple thing, but it's only a matter of awareness. The chart that General Kundra brought out is something very, very illustrative. And we can immediately find out where we exist, what kind of thoughts we have. And one of the most simple formulas that are given to people to come out of these lower emotions and frequencies is do not complain, do not criticize, and do not condemn. General Saab said that if everybody lives in the frequency of gratitude, then this will become Satyaloka. Okay, that may be a very tall order as of now, because the kind of figures he gave, that how many people are vibrating in this kind of higher frequencies, very few. So, but all of us can take some precaution. First thing is that we must look at the kind of dictionary that we have in our mind and banish all the negative words that we are using. People are very fond of saying, oh, I'm in deep trouble, I'm in great problems. Who is there who does not have problems? But as long as you think that it is a problem, it is a problem. So get out of that and find out something that gives you joy. So give yourself more time to do those things that you love, that make you happy, and that will take away any negative thoughts and emotions. Because otherwise there is no point in meditating for half an hour and then going back to using the same kind of language which one has been using for the last 50 years or 60 years. Because when you are meditating and you are started rising higher in awareness, if you use negative words, the potential of those words to cause damages is still higher. So there are some people who think that they are very spiritual, but they become very critical of others. So it is for them to really think that what is it that they are doing to themselves and to the others. Because there is greater power, so anybody whom you criticize, that person will be damaged. But that damage is also going to reflect upon your physical body and your mind and your thought process. Your karmic entanglement will go high. So the purpose of our group is to figure out ways and means how we can change or transform our lives. The simple thing is become aware of what you are doing. General Saab said it very nicely that you look at your own life every day. Have the awareness. What is the kind of emotion that you are living in? What is the most prominent thing? And how to change that. And we can, this whole world is made up of sound. It is just words. So if we change our words, we can change the experience of our own lives. And another thing I found this very interesting what General Saab did with Pratibha. Incidentally, I met a very remarkable person. Her name is Almas. And she is from Nigeria. She is a great healer. Advanced in years, she is having a lot of physical problems herself, but she keeps on healing people day in and day out. And she gave me a session because she found that I had some problem with my throat. And she introduced me to something which is called the emotion code. So, lot of suffering that we have or challenges that we have, it is because in our cell memory, a lot of trauma is trapped. And how to figure it out, the person who came upon this, who chanced upon this, he also did something like what David Hawkins did. He said, you just interlock your fingers like this, ask yourself a question, and if what you are asking is true, the answer is yes, then it will hold. you will not be able to disengage the fingers easily. But if it is not true, it will just slip out. And this is how she has been doing. I mean, this doctor in America has founded this methodology called the emotion code. So every emotion, if we are asking the right kind of question and that emotion is there in your body, then the answer will be these fingers will be interlocked and they will not open easily, and otherwise this will just open. So you know that this particular emotion is not there. No such thing is trapped. And this is how they do the healing. Maybe, I would like to invite her to one of our sessions to do some live demos for people. And it's amazing how she does this. So what Dr. David Hawkins has done, this is corroborated by another kind of what General Saab showed us here about with the strength of the arm experiment. It is validated by another kind of experiment, and which is used for healing in a big way. So this is something that just came up in my mind, and I wanted to share it. So thank you, General Saab, and it has been such an enlightening experience.
Let me share this thing which I was talking. This author has calibrated his every chapter and has given them the frequency. Chapter 1, 780, chapter 2, 830. Similarly, he has given the frequency of what they are. Not only this, he's also gone to the extent of calibrating religion. That's a very interesting thing for all of us to go through that. Because every religion he is calibrated. He being a Christian, and he says when the religion started, it was 1,000, 1,000 frequency. And over a period of time, the people have misinterpreted it and brought it down. It has come down to 570 frequency as of today. Islam, it says it started at 850 and has come down to 150 to 200. That the Wahhabism, the Sufism still remains at 700, which is there. And Hinduism is the only religion. This is not a Hindu who's talking. This is the Christian who's doing it, and non-scientific studies. He says Hinduism and its studies, scriptures, they vibrated at 1,000 when Gita was written or Gita was there. And thereafter, it has come down to 850. This is the religion which is vibrating the highest in across the world in all religions. Now, this is not to be seen from, perspective of that. It's just to bring it down that whatever we are doing, whatever we are talking and understanding has a lot of meaning. And not only us, the world is turning towards us. Today, if you see whether it's NASA, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is economics or anyway, everywhere they are picking on Vedic understanding. They're coming and reading those and putting that into use. And this is where we should be proud and feel that we are naturally in a nation where information is around us. We need to grasp this as early as possible. Yes, anyone, please.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel very happy when I read the Gita or the Ramayana or any scripture or life of saints. That gives me a great inner peace and joy for the works of Ramana Maharshi. Can I suppose that it will increase my vibrational frequency?
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, anything, whatever you do.
I don't want to be selfish and egoistic in mind. It shouldn't become a pleasure. You know what I mean? I enjoy, I'm so happy and at peace when I open Yoga Vasishta or the Ramayana. Whole day these days I spent reading or listening to discourses. So I got a doubt whether I am instead of meditating, I am spending more time on these things.
No,
because
I'm very glad you asked a very good question. Sorry, you're still saying something. My apologies. You're saying something. Okay.
That's my...
I think a very good question you have put across, and this is, in the mind of most of the people who are here. When you're picking up a book and reading, what is happening? Like I told you, I just showed this particular book. Every chapter he is given and calibrated upon. And every chapter has got a different frequency of what it is. So when you pick up Gita and when you pick up these particular books, you do this test. You do this for yourself and you hold this particular book, whichever you're reading, in your right arm and extend your left arm, or whichever arm is there. You can extend your left arm and hold it in the right arm here, and then ask someone to press it down. And he said resist, and you do that particular thing, and just in normal sense, and you'll find the strength of your muscles increasing. If your strength of the muscles are decreasing, that means this is a lower frequency which is generating. So reading books, scriptures definitely helps. It increases your vibration. Meditation has a different connotation to it. Meditation, like I told you, is basically reducing the thoughts. When the thoughts are getting reduced, the buddhi starts invading inside. Right now, the buddhi is not able to invade. Buddhi is there, but it's not able to invade a mind. A mind is only working between manas and the past memories, and that is what we are stuck up in. So when you sit in meditation, that particular gap starts increasing. So you need to meditate. But along with meditation, you need to gain information and knowledge from rightful scriptures. And reading the rightful, like what you're talking of, you must do this. It's a very essential aspect of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So can I add something
Sir, please.
Leelaji, there is a secret about reading scriptures. In our tradition, we call it swadhyay.
Ah,
Reading scriptures is called swadhyay. Now, if you look at the meaning of the word swadhyay, it means studying the self. Studying the self. Now, how does this reading Gita or any other scripture, how can it become reading the self or studying the self? It is like this, that we don't read them for just the intellectual understanding. We read the same thing over and over again. Over and over again. So when
I do that.
when we make that habit and read it with great love, it is not an action plan that today I will read so many verses or so many chapters and that will be it. One can just do it slowly over a period of time, and then something miraculous happens. It is like this, that the same verse or the same chapter or the same page that you have read so many times earlier, a different understanding begins to get distilled inside you.
I
It is
actually
no
feel
longer.
I feel so light-hearted and joyous
Yes.
inside.
So that is where the mind has started getting bypassed. Your intellectual understanding is bypassed. Something is getting directly transmitted to your heart, and that is the meaning of swadhyay. This is when swadhyay happens. It is not about getting some intellectual knowledge and understanding or information. It is moving beyond information.
Yes, I don't discuss, I don't talk, nobody knows what I read. And I've got all these books, just pointed out, David Hawkins.
Wonderful. And there is the other aspect of it. The other aspect is that most of these scriptures are this. If you are reading Gita, it was given by Lord Krishna to his very dear disciple Arjun. So disciple means a person who is ready to surrender. So such intimate things, the knowledge of the divine can be transmitted only to that person who is ready to listen with all his heart. So that sense of discipleship is necessary. The other thing is that you talked about Yog Vasisht. It is also something which was given to Lord Ram by Vasisht, the master. And he was ready. He was the one who asked the question. And then Vasisht answered. In Gita also, Arjuna asked the questions and then Lord Krishna answered. So it is like this, that when we connect with words spoken by great luminaries or great masters, their words have their own energy. You know, that like David Hawkinson on his scale, the energy is very high, say 1,000. And suddenly we may be vibrating at 200 or 250, but when we connect with this kind of great source of energy, suddenly our vibrations rise very high. So it's a very, very easy way of connecting with
Sir,
higher energies.
I got this doubt. I wanted to ask this question because I came across somewhere, I was reading, I don't remember where, that mere spending time reading books and thing will not take you anywhere. So, of course, I'm not going anywhere, but I just can't
No,
give up.
no, you must read books. There is a thought which people say. Let me tell you, you cannot concentrate till the time you understand. Like, for example, a small little example which I said, okay, let's plan this or let's visualize this flow of thing, which is consciousness. Now, tomorrow, this may be right, may not be right, whatever it be. But fact is, it has made you understand this consciousness. It flows through my mind, and whatever I'm doing, it is there. I can change it. This particular frequency is connecting to the universal frequency. I have to go and connect with that. Now, I'll tell you a small example. I go for badminton in the morning. You know, it may sound very silly and stupid. You know, a normal person will say, "What foolish thing is that?" But I would do it while playing badminton. Whenever my shots are not right, I always say, "Positive energies dawn me. Why am I gone wrong?" Earlier time, I would say, "Ki, you know, you would abuse a bit and say, oh, this is what has gone wrong. That's what you have done it wrong." Now I said, "No, he's done. I have to do my bit. I have to gather more positive energies." And I'm telling you, ma'am, it works. Small things I am realizing it is happening. I'm telling you today, uh,
I'm so
in the
glad you
open,
said that.
working for HDFC Bank, and I'm telling you, I don't know how this job came. I frankly do nothing, literally, and they're paying me handsomely. And I'm telling you, it's nothing. It's just divine understanding. Because my thing was, I have to put and understand these knowledge and are coming in, and has to be some financial stability. I must live in the same manner I was there, and it started happening. Not really. No, a normal person will find it ki foolish. ये बेवकार की बातें कर रहा है. But I'm telling you, these things happen. Is what you think will happen, and these things will happen provided you are genuinely inside. A thought must emerge from here as a truthful thing and not as a concocted thing, not from the manas, but it must come from here, going to buddhi. It will happen. I'm telling you, it's so profound, this particular exercise which is there. You start working on those frequencies, you will bring in a change. And I can assure you, if you do it genuinely and respectfully, and the first thing you will find, or you'll have to break that glasses of not letting your negativity be known to others. The day you break that glass, you actually have come onto a platform where you say, I'm improving now. I'm changing. And you'll find your frequencies matching with the similar frequencies in the universe, and you'll find things happening accordingly. People will start coming in your life who are positive. People will start coming in life whom you want. The people who you don't want them to be there, they start going away from you. Things will happen. Everything will happen. This is such a scientific thing. That's the reason, I always bring this up, and my understanding is that scriptures reading, like what Prakaji said, just reading scriptures is not adequate. Reading scriptures and feeling it and
Yes.
understanding it through that, that is the essence of the whole thing. And you must read.
Sometimes tears when I read the Gita, especially when he answers chapter 6, chapter 12.
Yeah.
I think Sajid has raised his hand. Sajid, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, I want to add something in response to Leela ji. Firstly, I appreciate Kundra ji about the presentation. Actually, Leela ji was saying that books don't send someone to somewhere. Actually, when I was reading one of the books of Tavaria ji, The Purpose of Life and Birth, so after that I got a chance to connect with the Gaur Saab. So books do take you somewhere. So actually, while reading the books, in my opinion, we are actually interacting with the frequencies of the advanced souls. So those were the not the words we are reading. Actually, those are the frequencies of the advanced souls to whom we interact. So this I wanted to share with you. Thank you very much.
Sajid is doing his PhD in Eastern religions.
Oh,
He
wonderful.
teaches in a
Wonderful.
university in Pakistan. He's doing
Wonderful.
his PhD in Eastern religions.
Yeah. Wonderful. It's great. And what you said, Sajid, is absolutely perfect. He reading those books is essential. It's essential, but read the right ones. That is also important. But intuitively, it'll come. Once you start reading, when you reach a particular frequency, you'll automatically pick up a book which is good for you. Like what he said, intuitively start meeting people. Things will come. It'll happen in life. So we do that little exercise. Someone wanted to do that thing. What we started with.
Sure, we can do that, and then we end. You can just
Okay.
yeah.
We can close our eyes. Focus on Ajna Chakra. Very gradually and slowly move your awareness along the periphery of your head. As you move along the periphery, you will feel the heaviness going along with your awareness all along the periphery. Concentrate on Ajna Chakra. Chant Om 3 times. Visualize a stream flowing over the head and the water falling from Ajna Chakra down. Right in front of Ajna Chakra is the bright sun shining, illuminating the brain. You can see the reflection of the sun, the stream flowing through your brain. You can visualize Some packets like things floating in the water. These are the thoughts. These are the thoughts which should not be there. If you visualize those thoughts, the packets in the river, burn them. Burn all the packets which are floating in the river. Burn them. Burn them. Burn them. Water flowing is clear of all packets. The sun shining is become brighter. It has spread all across the brain, and the brain is illuminated. Thoughts are becoming fewer and fewer. It's a blissful environment. Om. 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 You can come back in your awareness. Thank you. If there be nothing, Corsa, over to you.
Gorsa, please unmute yourself.
So many people have put in expressed their gratitude in the chat box. Usha Gupta ji and Daisy Irani and Shaila Gwalani and my friend Gyan, he appears as iPhone here, and Arti. So it has been wonderful. Thank you so much, Kundra ji.
Thank you, sir.
May God bless us all. Thank you.